Avoid the crowd. Do your own independent thinking. Be the chess player, not the chess piece. Ralph Sherrill. You know, the game of chess has always fascinated me. Not because I know how to play it, because I don't, or even how to spell it, frankly, but because I've drawn so many great analogies from the game of chess into my everyday life and also, surprisingly, the presentations that I've given throughout it. Which is exactly why in this week's episode of MasterTalk, I'll be covering the 3 lessons I learned from chess without ever playing it or understanding the game at all. Hi everyone, my name is Brent. I'm the founder of MasterTalk, your go-to channel to mastering your talk, and today we're covering the art of chess and presentations. So let's get into it. Number 1. Understanding the psychology of your opponent is just as crucial as the game itself. Most of us tend to forget that chess is a 2-player game, not a 1-player game. Garry Kasparov, who's arguably the greatest chess player who ever lived, yeah, sure, he was a great chess player, but by many grandmasters, he was considered a tornado. Whenever he would enter a match, he had this weird psychological trick where he would take off his watch at the beginning of the game, and people who watched him play knew that when he put the watch back onto his wrist, that the game was over. And this was a major psychological ploy that Garry used to his advantage, because he knew as well as anyone else that chess is not just about thinking 15 moves ahead, but also thinking about the other person in front of you. And that applies in many ways to public speaking, because most average speakers think presentations is a 1-player game. Oh, I wonder how I look. I wonder how I'm gonna do. I'm really stressed. But they don't worry, or they don't realize that it's a 2-player game too. What's the other people thinking? What are they imagining? What do they dream about? What do they aspire to be? And from that ability to understand your audience and their psychology, you're able to tailor your own presentation to your audience in a way that makes them remember it. So think about it like this. Chess is a 2-player game, so make sure to understand the psychology of your opponent, or in this case, your audience, to win the match. Number 2, every chess piece has a different role, so leverage them appropriately to win the game. In chess, there's many different pieces. Rooks, bishops, knights, the queen, and of course the almighty king. And each one of those pieces serves a different purpose on the board. Pawns are usually throwaway pieces that you use to get to the bigger chess pieces. Queens protect the king, essentially, because they have all the moves of the board and can essentially do anything in chess. And they have that freedom. So for you, when you look at your own chessboard, which by the way, if you haven't guessed yet, is your very presentation and how you speak, you need to understand every single weakness and every single strength that you have as a speaker. So when I started, I knew right away my tone was way too aggressive because I would demand people's attention, not ask them for it. I'm also very loud. I like to talk a lot. I'm not really listening that much. Terrible voice projection. And English was my second language because I grew up in a French curriculum. But instead of looking at all those weaknesses and saying, I stink as a public speaker, I can't master this, I'm introvert, I'm too shy, I looked at all of those like a chess game. These are all my weaknesses. These are all my strengths. How can I better leverage all of these tools to my advantage so I can come out as a great speaker? So for you, the question is the following. If you're an introvert, are you willing to learn from the extrovert? If you're an extrovert, are you willing to learn from the introvert? If you have weaknesses in your public speaking game, how can you leverage the different pieces of your own board so that you can come out the best presenter that you can be? And the best speakers I've met in my life understand what they're good at, know what they suck at, and leverage what they need to do to win their chess match. Number 3, the most vital part of public speaking in chess is the chessboard itself. And I'm sure you're wondering, Brendan, what are you talking about? Like, the board is, a board, it's a wood, and why does that matter to the game? Well, chess cannot be played without the board. For without the board, the pieces cannot move. And if the pieces can't move, the game can't even begin. That's why I've always believed in this idea that those who understand that the chessboard is the most important part of the entire game are in the best position to become world-class speakers. Why, you might ask? Because the goal of the chessboard is to hold all the pieces together, to understand how everyone thinks, what they dream of, what they aspire to be, and what they're trying to achieve in their lives. And what great speakers do is that by understanding everyone's perspective, they're able to communicate in a way that reaches the most amount of individuals. If I came up to here and I had really bad content and really bad quality and I didn't think about what I was going to say in this presentation, you would probably click off this video. But because I'm trying my best to explain it in a tangible, actionable way, then you're more inclined to say, hey, maybe I can master public speaking too. The chessboard is the whole point of the game. The more you understand and picture yourself as the board who takes care of everyone who gives you a couple of minutes of their time to listen to you, that's when you start to understand the true power of public speaking and the true reason why chess is important in the first place. To entertain us, to drive curiosity, and to play the game to begin with. Take the risk that no one else is willing to take in public speaking. And I guarantee you, by understanding the chessboard, how all of the other chess pieces move, and by the psychology of your audience, you, my friends, will achieve checkmate. As always, if you enjoyed this week's episode of MasterTalk, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well to see more videos like this. And if you know anyone who likes board games like chess, or really any game, send them this video so that they'll be one step closer to seeing chess in a completely different way. Take care, everyone. See you next time on MasterTalk.